Hello my beautiful friends, it's Amanda here, and today we're talking about ColourPop's latest collaboration with Bretman Rock. There are 10 pieces in this collection. It's a pretty large collection. Of course, I'm going to go over prices, swatches, and I'm wearing a bunch of the products on my face today. So I will do a quick little tutorial towards the end of the video, but I want to make sure that I swatch everything for you and get all the info out there for you, because this collection is launching on Friday, November 9th. I expect that it will be a 10 a.m. Pacific time launch. That's when ColourPop usually launches products on their website. So let's get straight into the products. This collection does have two halves. The lit products are gonna have more warm tones. The packaging is red or with flames, while the wet collection has blue packaging. It's cooler toned, and some of the special packaging has like water drops, raindrops, waves. You get the point. Let's start with the Super Shock Cheek blushes. Of course, there are two shades. I don't know if you can tell thanks to my ring light, but the packaging on this blush, it's called Ooh She's Blushing. This is a bright corally red, and the details on this one are gold, whereas this blush called Stop It is a kind of medium peachy toned blush, and the details on this one are silver. It's hard to tell with that ring light. Let's see if I get a close up. Can you tell a little bit better there? I think you can. These Super Shock blushes are sold individually for $8 a piece. Here are some swatches of the blushes. The bright reddish coral is Ooh She's Blushing. Again, this one's from the Lit collection. And from the Wet collection, we have this peachy orange. This one's called Stop It. I know those blushes might look a little bit scary, intense when they're swatched like that. I'm gonna show you a quick demo of me applying the shade Stop It. All I do is pick up a little bit with my finger and then tap that product onto the back of my hand, not only to warm it up, but also to tone down the amount of pigment that I have on my finger. Then I just tap my finger onto the apples of my cheeks. Then I like to use a nice dense duo fiber brush. The brush I used is the mini medium sculpting brush from Real Techniques. And I just use that brush to work the color into my cheeks. These blend out super smooth, super seamlessly. They're very, very buildable as well. I went for a lighter application because I knew I was gonna go more dramatic on my eyes, but you could definitely build these up to be crazy intense if you wanted to. I also want to mention that these Super Shock Cheeks come in special outer packaging. So the little cardboard carton that these arrive in are a matte black cardboard with little shiny wet and lit stamped into the cardboard. And then if you look up close, you can see that it says Bretman Rock x ColourPop. So aside from the eyeshadow palettes and the lip bundles, everything will come packaged in this matte black packaging. Now let's talk about a brand new product that we've never seen before from ColourPop. These are the Glitterally Obsessed Body Glitters. These are going to be priced at $8 a piece, and in keeping with the theme of this dual collection, we have one that's red with little gold and silver glitters, and then one that is blue with silver glitter. We're seeing the same packaging details here. The red glitter is called She Lit, and it has the gold detailing on the lid, where the blue glitter, of course, comes from the Wet collection. It's called OMG I'm Wet, and it has silver detailing on the lid. There is a little protective stopper thing on top here. You can just pop that out, and I like to put it in the lid. That way I don't get glitter everywhere. Although inevitably, glitter will be everywhere anyway. Here are some swatches of the glitters. This is She Lit and OMG I'm Wet. These have a very gel-like texture. It seems like the glitter sticks pretty well to the skin. I'm not gonna wear this. I'm just not into body glitter, and definitely not like this brightly colored, but it is always exciting to see a company come out with some new products. So if you're into body glitter, then these are for you. They are not for me, but maybe they're for you. Enjoy. Now let's talk lips. There are 4 new lip shades for this Bretman collection. 2 for lit, 2 for wet. So each part of this Bretman collection has an ultra satin and an ultra glossy lip. All 4 of these lip shades will be available to purchase individually. The ultra satin lips are going to be $6.50 and the ultra glossy lips are $6. But there will also be a lip bundle option for each one of the collections, lit and wet. In that bundle, you'll also get a lip liner. These lip liners are existing shades from ColourPop, so these are not new colors. These are not Bretman's colors. They were just chosen to pair with Bretman's colors. You will probably recognize the names of these lippy pencils if you're a big ColourPop fan. For the lit lip bundle, you get Dukes. For the wet lip bundle, you get BFF3. So you can see, even though these are existing shades, they did get a packaging update, especially for these Bretman lip bundles. And just FYI, these are lip pencils that you have to sharpen. They are not twist ups. The lip bundles will be $16 and they do come in the corresponding blue for wet and red for lit packaging. In the wet bundle, you get BFF3 lip liner, this peachy ultra satin lip called She Cute, and this clear gloss with a little bit of sparkle called Kumquat. This is what I'm wearing throughout the video. In the lit lip bundle, you get the liner called Dukes, a red ultra satin called Wig, and a gold shimmery gloss called I See You. I'm also going to show you some lip swatches just of the Bretman shade, so I'm not going to lip swatch the lip liners, but I do want you to see what these shades look like on. Now let's talk about the eyeshadow palettes. These are a new size for ColourPop. Each palette has 8 eyeshadow pans and they will be retail priced at $12 each. The outer packaging has some very glamorous photos of Bretman. On the back there aren't pictures of the shades, but the shade names are on the outer cardboard carton. The front of each palette has the name in glitter. The lit palette is gold. On the inside, you can see the shade names are printed next to the pans. There are not mirrors in these palettes. The lit palette has 5 mattes and 3 shimmers. The wet palette is silver with silver glitter. Again, 8 shades with the shade names printed next to the pans. The wet palette has 4 mattes and 4 shimmers. I'm going to swatch both palettes on the back of my hand with no primer. I'll do a finger swatch on top and then a corresponding brush swatch below. For my brush swatches, I'll be using my e.l.f. flat eyeshadow brush, and I'll clean the brush off in between each shade using my Veramona color switch. Here's the top row of the lit palette. First up is a warm peachy beige called Or Whatever. Then a really sparkly red called Mercy. A deeper warm brown called Macchiato, and a bright matte yellow called Cleo Amore, or Cleo Amore. Not sure how to say it. Either way, it's a beautiful bright matte yellow. I also want to point out that these brush swatches look so amazing. They look almost the same opacity as the finger swatches, so I think that's pretty impressive. This is the bottom row of the lit palette. First, this really beautiful gold shimmer called She Got Money, a matte orange called Period, a berry red matte. This one is Like, and lastly, this soft peach to gold shifting shimmer. This one is Batting. Again, the brush swatches are just beautiful here. Now moving on to the wet palette. This is the top row, starting with this light powder blue matte shade called Finished. a medium denim blue matte called I'm Chillin', a very, very shimmery turquoise blue called LOL I'm Crying. This one is for sure best applied with the finger. And lastly, this one's called Skinny Legend. It is a medium cool toned beige. This is the last round of swatches. It's the bottom row from the wet palette. First up is a bright blue shimmer called Mood. This is my favorite shade out of both palettes. It's called Fishy. It's such a beautiful, interesting emerald blue green. It almost has like a brown base. I don't know, this is such a cool shade. I really like Fishy. A shockingly bright shimmery silver called Thickums, and lastly a medium matte brown called Eva Beach. I know it's spelled with a W, but when I lived in Hawaii, I actually lived near Eva Beach. I lived in a town called Waipio, so for once I will get a pronunciation correct. Before we get into the tutorial, I want to show you some comparisons that I did between these Lit and Wet palettes and the Soul and Mar palettes, also from ColourPop. As soon as these Bretman palettes started circulating on Instagram, tons of people were commenting saying that they look just like the Soul and Mar palettes. I see why that comparison came up, but I don't think that they look just like them. You can look at the swatches and see for yourself what you think. Some shades are definitely similar, but particularly the Wet palette is really different from the Mar palette. The Mar palette has those bright pops of blue, but the neutrals in the Mar palette are super, super warm. And the Wet palette, just in my opinion, has a completely different feel. The Lit palette looks more like Soul than the Wet palette looks like Mar, but I think the Lit palette actually looks more like the Yes Please palette to me, probably just because there's that matte yellow in there. But I did want to go ahead and show you some quick little swatch comparisons so that you can see for yourself how similar these are or aren't. Now that you've seen all the swatches, let's go ahead and jump into the tutorial, and then I'll wrap up all my thoughts at the end. I'm starting off by priming my eyes with my favorite eye base. It's the MAC Paint Pot in the shade Painterly. Today I'm going straight in with my transition shade. I'm using this cool toned color called Skinny Legend, and I'm building that up in the crease. There's going to be lots of layering today. Next, I'm going to take Skinny Legend and Eva Beach mixed together for my lower lash line. Then I'm going to go back into Eva Beach on its own and build that up on the outer part of my lid to start to add some depth. This is going to be a little bit more of a dramatic look, so I'm taking my time building these shades so that we get a good blend. Now for my favorite shade, I'm going to take Fishy and apply that with my fingertip on the outer half of my eye, not completely covering that Eva Beach shade. Then I'm going to go into the Lit palette and take the gold called She Got Money, also on my fingertip, and pat that onto the inner half of my lid, just blending those together with my finger. And I did go back into Eva Beach to add a little bit more depth and darkness to that outer corner, and I used this warmer brown called Or Whatever to blend everything together. I curled my lashes and added some of my Physicians Formula Killer Curves mascara, and that completes this really shimmery, dramatic look. Overall, I think that this collection is really cool. I like the idea of two parts in one collection, this duality, the Lit and Wet. It makes me feel like there's kind of something for everyone. I really am excited to see ColourPop doing a full collaboration with a male collaborator. I think that is great. I think that coming out with a new product is great. I'm not really crazy about body glitter, but I always think it's exciting to see new kinds of products coming out. So while I think that the glitterily obsessed glitters are a cool idea, they're just not for me, and that's just a personal taste kind of thing. I love seeing the Super Shock Cheek blushes in this collection. The Super Shock blushes definitely get neglected in my opinion. Pretty much all of the Super Shock products just don't get the love that they deserve now that ColourPop does pressed powders. And you know, I love the ColourPop pressed powders. But I am happy to see these Super Shock blushes in the collection getting some love. This peachy shade called Stop It is my favorite. The more reddish shade is really beautiful too. I don't think it suits me as much, but I do think that one would look really gorgeous on medium and deep skin tones. No one will be surprised to hear me say my main pick from this collection is the palettes. That's what I always say, but I just love ColourPop palettes. This glittery packaging is so pretty. It gives me holiday vibes, holiday glam, shimmer, everything. I think the shade selection is nice in both palettes. There is just a little bit of neutrals in there. That's what I need to make a palette work, but these are mostly colorful. Typical ColourPop formula, performs beautifully, very easy to work with, and I like seeing these really bright, fun colors. That's it. That's the entire Bretman collaboration collection. I would love to hear your thoughts. Are you going to pick any of these up? Which things are catching your eye? Leave a comment and let us know what you think. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Lit, not lip, lit. That was cute. Is that right? So the little cardboard carton that these are the glitterly, I sound drunk. Glitterly. Now I'm sure this tiny glitter swatch will haunt me for the rest of my life. Be finding freaking red and blue glitter all over me. Be at my son's high school graduation like, oh look, there's some red glitter still stuck to me. Some people love body glitter. That's fine. I mean, do you? I'm glad that body glitter exists. Just because I don't want to use it doesn't mean I don't want you to use it. If it makes you happy, then I want you to use it. Wet lip bumble. Wherefore art thou, swatch brush? Where do we start? Where do we start? Let's start with Super Shock. Dang it. What? Super Shock shadow. No, it's not even a shadow. Dang it. Super Shock cheek. I'm committed to giving you the info.